And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, September 24th. It's time to head to Studio B for Colwman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Wednesday, and glad to have you with us. We're on the air for Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. And we don't have a representative from Cedarstone this morning, live in studio or on the phone at this moment. And so I'm going to just remind you of a few things about Cedarstone Bank. Of course, if you pay attention to the geography, you know that all three offices are on Highway 70 here in Lebanon, in Mount Juliet, and in Donaldson. And they've had this slogan from the very beginning, Simple Banking, Simply Better. And, of course, they invite you to check them out at their website, www.cedarstonebank.com. You'll find a lot of information there. And, of course, one of the things you'll find out about is that if you're looking for a great community bank, they want you to get to know their home team. And at Cedarstone Bank, they do think banking should be simple with all the services you need and the nicest people to provide them for you. And that's why their basic checking account comes with no monthly fee and no minimum balance. As for the people, you can come and see for yourself. Or maybe I should say you can go and see for yourself. You'll be glad you did. But that free checking account gives you nationwide ATM debit card, a free mobile app, Vacation Club, Christmas Club savings, and of course at Cedarstone you get home loans. You can do consumer loans, automobile, motorcycles. Susie has joined us here this morning. Susie, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You know a lot about Cedarstone Bank.
I do.
Bob McDonald, I think, not only is a dear friend of mine, but a dear friend of yours as well.
Yes, he and Susan. They are just great community partners. They're involved in so many things. You can stop by, and they always know your name. They really do. They'll from day one, they'll know who you are. They've got great friendly staff. You can get a cup of coffee, just like your Cedarstone cup you're drinking out of there.
Look at that. I drink out of it every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
At Cedarstone Cafe.
He does.
Yeah, Colwman told me, he says, I got to drink out of the Cedarstone cup today.
Even the guests know that. Even the guests know. One thing I wanted to point out, that their Shred Day is coming up. Did you just say that already?
I did not say that.
Okay, yes.
I picked that up. I don't know whether I was at the bank and picked that up, but I got it somewhere and had remembered it. We hadn't mentioned that.
Right.
And I thought, I'll just take this and that'll be something else to talk about when they do their commercial.
Yes, it's on their signage. They've always got a banner, but it's such a convenience. It is actually this Saturday, the 27th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you just drive up and they take a normal-sized box. Don't bring a household load of shred, but most people have a small box of things you need to dispose of, and it's a great community event. It's easy, it's quick, and it's free as well. One other thing I wanted to brag on, when you were inducted into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, Bob and Susan and his staff and the board, they hosted a congratulations party and welcomed local listeners and advertisers just to come in and shake your hand. And that's always stuck out in my mind, how special that was. That was above and beyond to congratulate you. So I just wanted to publicly thank them one more time for that event.
Well, it was a great event, and I appreciated it so much, and really an honor for what happened, obviously, but for the bank to take time out and to provide refreshments.
Yes, provided
food
lovely
and
music and refreshments. Yes, so I'll let you move on, but missed you yesterday. Judge Tatum did a great job while you were out on assignment, so and you got a great guest.
Yeah, we do. Well, just keep in mind it is Cedarstone Bank, whether it's Lebanon, Mount Juliet, or Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better, and they'll be glad to know that you hear their commercial here each Wednesday. We're about 9 minutes after the hour, and I want to welcome Tom Brashear this morning, who is my guest and no stranger to Colwman and Company. Been here many times. questions. Tom, good morning, first of all.
Good morning.
You want to say that again? I don't think I had your mic turned up loud enough.
I said good morning, and good morning to everybody out there on Facebook.
I have said this several times when I would look maybe a day or two ahead, and I've got a vacancy, and well, it's been a while since I've had Tom Brashear on. You could always depend on you. Maybe once or twice you just couldn't make it, but otherwise, when I've needed somebody, you have been here. And I thought that when you took the job with the state and left the county employment and wouldn't have an office here at the courthouse like you did before, that we probably wouldn't be seeing much of each other. And honestly, we haven't seen as much. But I saw you sometime fairly recently, and you even mentioned being on again, which was encouraging, let's say. But it's good to have you this morning.
Well, it's good to be here, Colwman. I've always enjoyed being on your show, and I think you, both WANT and your show in particular, do a great job of community outreach, and it's a good element to have in our community. So I appreciate y'all.
Well, you've given me your new card here, and most people have some designations after their name. Sometimes I know what they mean. A lot of times I don't. It says Tom Brashear, AICP, comma, CFM.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, those are actually professional certifications I've had for some time. One is the American Institute of Certified Planners.
All right.
That is a designation provided through the American Planning Association for people that take a test and get certified. And then the other is the Certified Floodplain Manager's designation. I also happen to be a landscape architect, and now I'm a certified landfill operator as a part of my new role.
As well as an environmental management consultant.
Yes.
And you, the first thing, you were here before me as I was pouring my coffee in the Cedar Stone cup. You said, look at my shirt, and you've got UT on you. I'm one of them now.
I said, go Vols. They're paying the freight, so I'm willing to root for them a bit.
Well, you did graduate from Auburn University.
I did
a few years ago, and you'll still root for Auburn.
Absolutely.
They've been called the Tigers and the Plainsmen, and seemed like they had another one, but
the War Eagles.
Eagles, yes.
But there's a few of us around here. Paul Stum comes to mind. Of course, he's a big Cumberland Phoenix acolyte now, but he also went to Auburn.
I did not know that.
Yeah, talk to him about it sometime.
Yeah, okay. Well, he usually listens, and I get graded. I get a score on how many times Cumberland University is mentioned. If it's mentioned one time, that's one. You know, if it's mentioned a half a dozen, well, that's that much better. But if it isn't mentioned at all, I'm probably on his bad list for the day.
Well, I'll go on to say they're another great asset we've got in our community. So.
What you said? What are we going to talk about? And I said most anything. And but really, I guess what has changed about what you do each day, your job requirements, what's expected of you at the state compared to the way it was with the county?
Well, our organization is the University of Tennessee's County Technical Assistance Service, and they operate as one of several agencies that are under the Institute for Public Service at the University of Tennessee. And the County Technical Assistance Service is specifically charged with providing assistance to counties and county officials. So traditionally, they've helped quite a few of the elected officials. For instance, next year, we will have a county officials orientation program that we refer to inside the organization as COOP. And what that is right after the elections, about the end of August, beginning of September. I don't know if you know this, but most every county in the state is going to be running through county elections next year with the county commissioners and the county mayor, county clerk, county sheriff. All of those officials are running for office at the same time every 4 years.
Right, and I think here it's everything but the property assessor.
The property assessor is in a alternative, like 2 years out from that. And
but otherwise,
there may be one other one, but
okay.
Yeah,
well, it used to be. It used to be that when we elected the school superintendent, we called them then. They were on that off time.
Right.
But since they are appointed now, there's just the one that I know of. We need to ask Tammy Smith that question. But go ahead.
So anyhow, we're gearing up to begin preparing for COOP next year and working with the other field staff. Our field staff consists of 2 environmental management consultants. I cover the west end of the state from a little bit east of here, west, and my cohort, Kim Rea, handles the east end of the state for environmental management issues, and those can be anything from planning and zoning related issues to stormwater management related issues to floodplain management issues, and to what they've traditionally been pretty stellar at, which is solid waste management. So I'm having to pick up and learn quite a bit about solid waste management in this new job. I've not gotten over to see Cindy Jackson yet, but she's on my list, or not Cindy Jackson, Cindy Lynch.
Yeah.
She's on my list to go see to tap her knowledge base, because she's been at that job for quite a while at Wilson County.
Well, but, then that's something you didn't really have much to do with when you were here for the county.
No, I would take calls from Cindy from time to time, needing help kind of locating parcels that might be available for different things they wanted to do, such as convenience centers and things of that nature.
Tom Brashear is my guest. We'll take a break right here on Colwman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota. Ride it off the lot. Ride it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's moving a little bit better through Bellevue from the earlier collision we had on 40 eastbound near McCrory Lane. It is really loading up now with volume 24 westbound by Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway. All that traffic coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County here into Davidson County. It's heavy 65 south at Trinity Lane. It's also increased down I-40 through the Mount Juliet area, westbound I-40 headed on into Hermitage. When you need dependable towing for your car, big truck, no matter what county here in Middle Tennessee, STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Everyday Fiestas offers party rentals on everything you need for your special event. Birthdays, weddings, corporate events, they have you covered. Tables, chairs, tents, linens, dance floor, and so much more. Visit their new showroom in Lebanon at 713 East Main Street in the old Ferguson's building. Find them every day at fiestas.com or on Facebook. Everyday Fiestas offers party rentals that can transform your vision into a beautiful reality. Mention this ad to receive 10% off.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
And we continue here on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. And if you just turned our way, thanks. Tom Brashear is with us, formerly our county planner, and maybe another title or two. Right now, Tom is environmental management consultant and is working for the state of Tennessee. Are you actually employed by the state or by the University of Tennessee?
By the University of Tennessee.
Okay, right. And you go to Knoxville occasionally.
I do go to Knoxville occasionally. I'll be going to Knoxville here in a couple of weeks, or a few weeks.
Well, there any job has its challenges, and it depends on what you're focusing on at the moment sometimes. But we had a nice discussion during the break here, which some of which we can share with our audience here this morning. But all the problems across the state are not the same. You were telling me, I didn't know this, but maybe 2 or 3 of the counties on the Mississippi border of the Mississippi River don't even have a planning office.
They don't have an active planning commission.
Okay.
And for that matter, a planning office to speak of, because planning offices generally advise the planning commission first and foremost. So the issues that the state is facing, I would say, may be similar statewide from county to county, but in terms of what tools the counties are exercising to address those issues, you may have quite a bit of variation. Like I think there's 48 counties that have zoning ordinances. There's 69 counties that have subdivision regulations out of 95.
Right.
I think there's 58 counties that enforce International Residential Code.
Well, you're available, I would take, primarily for the counties, your area you mentioned earlier, maybe a little east of here over to the Mississippi River, and the lady you mentioned has the other.
Yeah, Kim Rad handles the eastern end of the state. Now, I will say Kim and I developed quite a team-style approach. If she's got some right now, at least, she has better expertise in solid waste, so I'll lean on her to come and help me down in the west end of the state. And if she needs to answer some questions about stormwater or floodplain management, I might go east. I've been up to Hawkins County and Greene County, for instance, a couple of times to present to their planning commissions and county commissions.
Well, it just occurred to me. Let me ask you this. I've had your successor on once, I believe.
Christopher?
Yeah, seen him on the county commission meeting when I watched the TV a time or two. But I just what I'm wondering, the changeover, and has he leaned on you a little bit to get all? He had worked in the office prior, I believe.
Yes.
But, how's things with him?
He had worked there for quite a few years, and I felt he was ready to take the step up. For once, of course, it was the mayor and the county commission's decision, but I believe he was at a point in his career where he had developed enough. He was ready to make that move into a director's position, and I think he's doing a pretty good job. I've still been following the county commission and the planning commission and some of the other committees on YouTube just to kind of keep up with what the issues are here, because I'm called to help Wilson County at times too. I haven't helped a whole lot because I haven't needed to, but Christopher and I will occasionally go to lunch and talk.
Yeah. What's some of the bigger things that you are facing, and I'm wondering if there's some decisions forthcoming that whichever way we go, left or right or up or down on those, it's going to make a big difference.
Well, some of them have been front and center as a result of Wilson County's land use plan update that they're going through. But I'll talk about a couple of issues that I think are growing into statewide issues that are going to need to be addressed. One of them is agricultural, forestry, and farmland laws statewide. Between 1997 and 2017, we lost 1.1 million acres of farmland over a 20-year period. From 2017 to 2023, we lost 430,000. So you can see the loss of farmland and agricultural land is increasing exponentially. In about 25% of the time, we've lost half of the acreage we lost over a 20-year period prior. And roughly, that's about 200 acres per day since 2017. And by 2027, they're anticipating that we will reach the 2 million acre mark since 1997. But that's in a much more rapid pace than the first 20 years of that 30-year period.
What's that going to do?
Well,
I mean, obviously it means less farmland available.
Yes, and the farming community has taken notice of that, and in fact, the University of Tennessee has, as a result, taken notice of that, and a sister agency has been developed and is forming that's going to be the Center for Local Planning to try to work with some smart growth initiatives and things like that can be provided as resources to the counties across the state in terms of how best to preserve farmland from a local planning perspective.
Well, now, has this been? I wouldn't think that it been the same all over the state. That there's certain areas where it's really devoured the farmland.
Well, the whole state at this point is growing, and I'll explain a little bit of why here in a minute. But Middle Tennessee, in particular, has been sort of ground zero for just exponential growth in the past 10 to 20 years. We have grown extraordinarily by comparison to even other parts of the state. That growth has started to expand into the area in and around Knoxville, Chattanooga, and even points way up in the tip of the state near Johnson City and Bristol and those areas. And of course, they're beautiful areas. Where, frankly, our state's been discovered. It's a beautiful state, and people are realizing it. And due to the tax structure we've got, maybe some lower property valuation that they can take advantage of when they move here from other parts of the country and internationally. The state's been discovered, and now with West Tennessee, there's a big project you may have heard of called Blue Oval that Ford is involved in, and they're developing to beat the band to develop that large plant facility, and several of the counties and communities on the west end of the state are starting to see growth that they hadn't seen before. Jackson had grown a little anyways. Memphis had grown a little anyways, but now the counties in between those are starting to pick up and grow. And
go ahead.
The other issue that's kind of on the opposite end of that is we are growing, and so by 2040, I think in 2020 census, I think we were around 6,910,000 people, according to the University of Tennessee Boyd Data Center. By 2020, we're going to have, or by 2040, we're going to have 7,940,000 people. So we're a growing state, and that brings with it its own set of issues. In certain parts of the state, we're having housing shortages, or we're going to have housing shortages. And even if they're not just out and out housing shortages, people might look around and say, well, we got plenty of houses in our community. The other issue that's kind of facing us there is the aging of the population. Between 2022 and 2040, we're going to see a 25% increase in people over 65. And by the same period, we're going to see a 36% increase in the age 75 to 84 cohort. So you're going to need more community facilities and better access to those facilities that serve senior citizens. It'll affect everything from the need for medical care all the way down to how roads are maintained to make sure people that are a little older may not see as well or have as good reflexes, have good clear viewscapes and things. So those are some issues that the county's facing, but it's also affecting things like solid waste. You may have heard on the news there's a bit of controversy going on in Rutherford County about Middle Point landfill down in Rutherford County, and
which affects us here.
It does, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Wilson County may have already kind of gotten ahead of that a little bit and chose to contract with Smith County for landfill disposal. But nonetheless, if and when Middle Point closes out, then all the people that are using that landfill, including Metro Nashville, will be forced to start looking at other places, and then that affects the other periphery landfill facilities that are left, such as Smith County. They're going to see heightened growth as well.
Anybody ever thought about burning that?
Incineration? Yeah. Yes, there's we get that question a lot, particularly down in West Tennessee, but when we've looked into it at CTAS, there's a cost and scale issue with that. The cost to build an incineration facility is much more expensive than people might imagine, much more expensive than a landfill. Having said that, landfills are terribly difficult to get permitted at this point, through the state and federal agencies. And in fact, there's been a significant reduction in the number of operating landfills that are out there, and the ones that are still operating are typically there's not as many government-run landfills any longer.
Well, we're about to run out of time here. Is there a chance that there'd be more opportunities to recycle? Absolutely.
And in fact, there's a state law that requires that every county seek to what's called diversion from the waste stream, divert 25% of their overall waste to alternative uses, and that's right in the wheelhouse of recycling efforts. So,
and that's probably going to be insisted on more as time goes on.
Yes, I think you'll see that come forward. But the cost is going to go up as well for solid waste disposal.
You're involved in so many things. You were here in the county, and it hasn't changed. I can tell that.
Yeah.
But but you welcome it, no doubt. You're still having fun.
I am. I'm having fun, and like I said, I'm going to a few counties that maybe aren't exercising the resources available to them as yet because, frankly, they haven't had to. But now they're starting to see growth and some of the growing pains that come with that, and they're starting to look around and say, well, what can we do? So I'm able to go down and talk to them about.
Well, Tom, it's always good to have you. Thanks for being with us today. Tom Brashear, environmental management consultant and affiliated with the University of Tennessee.
Yep.
And still an Auburn grad.
Yeah. But for Mike Jennings' purposes, I'll say go Vols.
He'll love that. That is part one of Colwman and Company. We've got more. Hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. This all brought to you by Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $69.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation and safety check. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We've got a couple of wrecks out here. It's slow go, 840 westbound, coming past Elmaville as you leave Rutherford County headed towards Williamson. It's also running a little bit heavy on 40 westbound here at Spence Lane. All that traffic coming through Hermitage Donaldson right now as it continues to build down from the north on 65 southbound down through Millersville. Hey, when you need dependable towing for your car, big truck here in Middle Tennessee, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedar Stone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedar Stone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Your Lebanon High football team is back on the field, and we're back in the booth. Join Donald Gann, Joe Gardner, and myself, John Boyce, as the Blue Devils hit the gridiron each week. Lebanon football is brought to you by Bates Ford, Birdine Supply, Fakes and Hooker, Kay Maynard with State Farm Insurance, Kenny Salas and the Salas Realty Group, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryant, Shannon Speck Electric, Sports World, Rackley Roofing Company, Wilson Bank and Trust, and Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell. This Friday, your Blue Devils will be hosting Hillsboro High School. Pre-game at 6:30, kickoff at 7.
We'll have scattered thunderstorms this morning, becoming more widespread in the afternoon. Some storms may be strong to severe, with gusty winds being the main threat. Highs will be around 80 today. Thunderstorms continue tonight, lows in the upper 60s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions.
Colwman and Company, welcome to part two here on a Wednesday morning. Time for us to talk about Cedar City RV, 1102 Sparta Pike here in Lebanon. Mark Noble is not with us this morning, but Susie James is. Good morning to you again.
Good morning. Good morning.
I was surprised when you walked in and said, I'm going to be Mark Noble this morning.
I'm going to be Mark Noble. Mark Noble is great at what he does. I have sensed that. I mean,
he invited me out there to look at all that they had when they started advertising, and each week I'm impressed with his knowledge of the RVs and of the business and all that they do to take care of their customers.
That's right. That's right. They have such a huge selection. And when we bought the first one from them, Mark helped us hook it up to the truck and unhook it in every little detail. And we were actually, I think we were at Cedars of Lebanon, but we had a challenge. I don't even remember what the challenge is. There's always a new challenge in anything you do. So a new opportunity to learn. So we had this opportunity, and we called Mark, and we took a picture and a video of whatever the problem was, and he just told us, "Oh, you just do this," and we fixed it. He's so knowledgeable without him even seeing or being on site, with the camper. But they have all different sizes. I don't know what all you went in, but from just little tiny to fifth wheels that are just like you're moving a home. And they do not carry a line of new motor homes, but they've usually got some trade-ins that they've got for sale on the lot. Since we already have one and we're established campers, I sound like I'm a pro, but we do go in there often in their shop because they've got supplies. They've got you need to replace your hoses every once in a while. There are products that you put in the sewer, for cleaning in your black tank. They've got chairs and just all kinds of camping supplies. So even if you're not in the market for a new camper, if you'd stop by there and just walk through the showroom and the shop.
He seems to really love what he's doing and loves to talk about it.
He does.
And the fact of all that they really have available, because it's more than just selling you a camper or an RV.
It is. It's a great responsibility when you pull that off the lot, and so they support you wherever you are. I'll move on because you've got another fabulous guest, but sometime you should have Mark for a little bit longer segment and ask him about his racing experience, because he and the whole family have been involved in that. That's how I actually met them, but we'll talk about that 32 years ago.
A little bit every once in a while.
Yes. So.
Well, we'll remind you that you can get a lot of information at their website, which is cedarcityrv.com, cedarcityrv.com. And, of course, the great location there, 1102 Sparta Pike, is just very near the interstate, the Watertown exit. And their phone number is one that's pretty easy to remember, 615-815-8650. And Susie, you can have the last word.
Just stop by and see them.
All right, great.
They sell fun.
Okay, we are ready to introduce my guest for part 2 this morning. And it is nice to have Helene Cash. Good morning.
Good morning, Colwman. How are you?
I am doing well, and it's nice to have you with us today. Helene Singer Cash. I have introduced you that way a few times as well. And you took on a new endeavor not too long ago, the last couple of months?
July 1 was my first day.
Okay, July,
officially.
August, September, 2.5 months. What is it?
Okay, that's simple. That's a great question. Well, first off, Colwman, thank you for having me, and I have missed you.
I missed you too. You were here. For those, I think most of our listeners would know and recognize your voice and recognize your name, having been affiliated with A.G. Johnson Realty for quite some time and coming out here on Thursday to do their commercial, and that's where we're missing each other the most.
Absolutely, and I will say that to let you know, I still have my real estate license with A.G. Johnson, so we're still family.
But you have, we'll say, graduated to Hartsville, Tennessee.
I have. So July 1, I took on a new endeavor. All those who know me know that economic development is in the heart of my heart. That is something I believe in. The growth of our community, the opportunity to direct growth, bring in industry, and help the environment grow in the direction that the leadership wants it to grow. Well, I was able to take a position with Tennessee Central Economic Authority. It covers 5 counties. So I do economic development, industrial, mostly economic development for Smith, Trousdale, Macon, Wilson, and Sumner.
Okay.
Plus,
I
have a 450-acre industrial park that the authority owns, so we manage that. And I have a port. There's a port in Hartsville that's at my industrial park, and we receive shipments at the port, and it's growing. So
on the Cumberland River.
On the Cumberland. So I do economic development for 5 counties. Or the team does. It's not just me. I have a team. Economic development for 5 counties. We have an industrial park, a 450-acre industrial park, and a port, a growing port.
So, what else do you want?
I don't get to sleep very much.
Well,
and I'd have it no other way.
Let's talk about one other thing that just happened, and you brought me a picture of this morning before what happened. That was earlier this week.
It was.
Yeah.
Actually, it was it was Thursday of last week.
Oh, okay.
But it's within a week.
All right.
So
nearly a week.
Nearly a week ago. So adjacent to my industrial park, literally we're neighbors, is the TVA Hartsville nuclear plant. Mm-hmm. We know that plant never started generating. It stopped in 1979. President Carter changed how spent nuclear rods were to be processed, so all nuclear in the U.S. stopped. And
you were a little girl at that time.
I was just a little girl. Thank you for that. In 1979, the 3 Mile Island accident happened. And in 1982, all construction halted out at Hartsville. But what was standing there was that 540 hyperbolic cooling tower. Uh-huh. And last Thursday, it was imploded.
Right.
And if y'all have not seen the videos of it, I'm going to tell you, go anywhere on social media, but more specifically, go to the TVA site on any social media platform, and you will see an amazing video, that incredibly clean implosion. And I love giving the stats on that implosion. There were 2,000 holes bored inside the tower, 2,000, and that was for a couple reasons. One, to keep the percussion inside, but also to have that clean implosion. There was 7,000 feet. I call it ripcord, but it's not ripcord. It's whatever the detonator cord is. So there were 7,000 feet of that explosive cord, 900 pounds of explosives. To some people, that's a lot. To other people, like, that's not much. So those who do detonation are like, that's not a lot for that 540 tower. Demolition worked for 5 weeks, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, getting it ready. Post-explosion, we have 50,000 yards of concrete that will be completely recycled on site and used for 2 different types of gravel on the property. And then all the rebar will be sent out to be recycled. Not a lot of concrete when you think about 540 feet, 54 stories tall. And I heard a statistic yesterday that the hole in the ground was 40 feet, so 4 stories down. Mm-hmm. I can't confirm that, but that was what I was told. So all of that concrete rubble, but there's not a lot there, because how the hyperbolic tower was built was that it was a steel structure and then just concrete encased it. So it's not solid concrete. That's why there's only 50,000 yards of concrete.
All right. Well, what about the steel?
The steel, you know what? When we spoke to one of the engineers, he just said, I should have the information on the rebar, but I can't give you how much rebar. But what we do know is that rebar is being sent off to be recycled. It will be completely recycled, just not on site.
So really, even though we had the implosion and the tower is no more, it's not all going to waste.
It is not going to waste at all. So it's pretty impressive that they're able to recycle everything, and they're going to recycle that concrete right there on site.
Well, that probably doesn't have anything directly to do with your job. Maybe,
it indirectly does, because I work with TVA every day, and we're excited for the opportunity. They have stated that the demolition is for safety purposes and future economic development.
Yeah.
TVA's in 7 states. They've been doing this to other properties I just think it's their year to do these projects, to bring them, modernize the projects.
Well, I never was on that site that I know of, but I do remember being on this side of the river and going by it. And looking at it over there.
It was an iconic tower.
Yeah, I think that's up in the Hiawassee community somewhere over there. And
Hiawassee was a great place to watch it.
That was an impressive thing to just all of a sudden you come upon it, look across the Cumberland River there, and there's this big structure. It is too bad that it never got used for its intended purpose, but at least it's out of the way now, and something can be made of that.
They can use that acreage for something different.
Well, as part of the Tennessee Central Economic Authority, you doing much traveling?
Yesterday I was in 3 counties. So there are days that it's just I'm all over Middle Tennessee, and I have a field trip to Jackson next week. So yeah, there's a lot of traveling. There's a lot of business partners that we get to circle around with and work with, and no 2 days are alike, and no 2 days are boring.
Well, you on your fact sheet here that you've brought to me, it says our mission is to recruit, retain, and expand industry in our 5-county region. So I guess that kind of says it in a nutshell here: recruit, retain, and expand industry. So that's what your job and what you now are all about.
Absolutely. So we get to work with existing industry and help them if they need to grow, if they need new employees. We work with different education facilities. We opportunity for workforce development to bring in new industry where we have land or spec buildings that are already built. So we get information through lots of different routes to bring in industry, to partner with industries. So it's an incredible opportunity to affect positive change in our communities.
Well, we would have to say that Wilson and Sumner counties have been growing by leaps and bounds. I don't know. I'm sure the others have, but not to the extent, and they're not nearly as thickly populated, Smith, Trousdale, and Macon, as Wilson and Sumner are. Is more of your efforts going to be directed more toward Smith, Trousdale, and Macon?
That's a great question.
No?
So my 3 rural counties, as we refer to them, Smith, Trousdale, and Macon, are the 3 rural counties, are my strongest focus for economic development when it comes to bringing in industry, because Sumner and Wilson have several different economic development organizations already doing that job. So I get to support those organizations like the JECDB in Wilson County. And then you have Sarah Haston at the City of Lebanon. You have Kenny Martin at the City of Mount Juliet. I get to support them in their endeavors. Sumner County is the same way. There are several organizations. So I'm the only economic development person for Smith, Trousdale, and Macon. So yes, my focus is, and board directed that way also, that I get to focus on my 3 rural counties. And I'm so fortunate to live in one of those rural counties, and I love it.
Okay. Helene Singer Cash, my guest. We'll take a break right here. This is Colwman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot. Write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A couple of wrecks out here. Here's what we're seeing: slow traffic, 840 going westbound, coming out of Rutherford County into Williamson County there past Elmaville. Really slow. 65 south at Trinity Lane. It's very heavy traffic volume. 24 westbound at Bell Road up through the Antioch area. When you need dependable towing for your car, truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
Cedar City RV, your destination for all things camping. Whether you're looking for travel trailers, fifth wheels, or anything in between, Cedar City RV has you covered. We proudly offer top brands like Forest River, Palomino, Rockwood, Coachman, and more. Plus, expert service after the sale to keep you on the road with confidence. Financing is available, making it easier than ever to start your next adventure. Visit us online at cedarcityrv.com or stop by our location at 1102 Sparta Pike in Lebanon to explore new and previously enjoyed models today.
Colwman and Company, our final segment here for a Wednesday morning. Helene Singer Cash is my guest. She is part of the Tennessee Central Economic Authority, and we've been talking about a number of things this morning. But as you work, especially with the 3 rural counties of the 5, we know and have talked about Sumner and Wilson, its growth, and the challenges aren't exactly the same, for sure, for Sumner and Wilson as they are in Smith, Trousdale, and Macon. Although, how's the workforce in Smith, Trousdale, Macon? Unemployment I guess
unemployment in our state is extremely low, as well as it is in the 3 rural counties. And we have same opportunities as we have in Sumner and Wilson as we have in Smith, Trousdale, and Macon when it comes to workforce, because we have workforce, it's called leakage, meaning your workforce is leaving to go to another county to work. So we have that happening in Smith, Trousdale, and Macon. So that means more rural counties, those people are coming into the 3 counties to work. So you have an inflow and a leakage number. We have great education partners toward TCAT this week to look at, there's I think it's a $35 million investment out there, new construction. They're bringing in new education processes. They're bringing in lineman courses, which they didn't have before. That whole new section of the school will be open fall of 26. But it gives us an opportunity to have more education on that 2-year degree. But also with having that TCAT right there in my backyard, when I have an industry that has a new line, when I have a company that needs specific education for their workforce inside their building, we can work with the TCAT and have that implemented. So that is so wonderful. And that TCAT in Hartsville is also part of the TCAT here in Lebanon.
How closely do you work maybe with the county mayors, with the governments of these 3 counties?
That's a huge part of it. My board is comprised of 7 people. 5 of them are my 5 county mayors.
Okay.
So I am dialoguing with them on a regular basis. I'm in touch with them on a regular basis. Right now, one of the things that we're doing is scheduling appointments with each of our mayors to understand what their visions are for their community. Who are their strong business partners? Who do we need to be working with on a daily basis or a weekly basis within the industry? Understanding their industrial sites. How do we want that community to grow? I always say, I live in a rural community. I understand and want to preserve the rural lifestyle. But if we are not growing, we are stagnant, and we run the risk of becoming a distressed community. And that's the last thing we want to do, is be distressed, because bringing industry in, bringing jobs, having education suffers. Trousdale County is under 12,000 people. It's not a large community. So if you can bring in an industry that is 100 acres, that impact on property tax is significant. So that can help fund that community. We don't always look at it that way, but industry does pay property taxes. We have the people coming to work, and then there's gas tax and there's sales tax because they're buying their lunch. So it's very cyclical. But if we bring in an industry that is going to be on 50 acres or 100 acres, and they buy their land and develop that land, that property tax rate changes significantly.
Well, of those 3 more rural counties, each has its own needs in all of this. But one of the things I wanted to throw out here, I understand the Highway 141 is eventually going to have the bridge going to be built across the Cumberland, connected
Correct.
with Highway 10 going to Lafayette, which in some cases is going to bypass the city of Hartsville a little bit more.
You won't have the heavy traffic coming through the downtown environment.
All right.
That's all. So there's a strong focus on developing the downtown, or continuing to develop downtown, revitalize it, just like we did with Lebanon. There was and you know this, huge revitalization from 2010 to where we are now in 2025, 15 years later. That is not the same downtown. What I mean by that is that you have almost 24 hours a day downtown. You have people living there. You have restaurants. You have shopping. We didn't have that in 2010. So there's a focus on revitalizing downtown Hartsville, knowing that the traffic's going to be bypassed. But if we think about it, not only will the 141 opening connect Lebanon through Hartsville to Lafayette, it's truly now a full connector to Kentucky. You can go all the way up to Kentucky, and that's a strong selling point for me when I'm talking to industry, because it's not a clean connection right now, all the way up to Kentucky. So when moving freight, it's much easier. Or we talk about moving freight on the Cumberland River through the port.
What are some of the things, the challenges or things you might want to talk about regarding Smith County?
Smith County, I have a very supportive mayor in Smith County, Mayor Mason. As with all my mayors, let me just be very clear. I have very supportive mayors, and they're great to work with, and they understand the goals and the focuses and our mission and vision, however you want to say it, for Tennessee Central. Working with Jeff Mason and understanding their opportunities in Smith County. Smith County does not have an industrial park. They have privately owned land that's zoned industrial, whereas in Macon County, they do have an industrial park. Of course, Trousdale, I have an industrial park. So it's just a different way of approaching recruiting companies in Smith County. And I was asked the other day, how do I choose one county over another for a project? I never choose. I don't ever choose. When an industry is coming and they're looking to find a new home or a second location or a new headquarters, whatever it is, they give us a spec sheet. It's called an RFI, request for information, and it spells out right there everything that they're looking for and how does your location meet our needs. Well, if I have 2 locations that meet those needs, I'm submitting 2 different proposals for both communities. I don't choose. They tell me what they need and how can I fulfill those needs.
Well, it sounds like you do have an interesting job, and you've got to you got to sell all 5 of these these mayors on what you're doing. That you're working just as hard for one as you are the other, I suppose.
That's a constant conversation and working on a 10-year plan. And what do the next 10 years look like, and how do we move forward in economic development as the 5 counties, and then individual counties, and then at my owned industrial park, because I have to manage that. I have 26 tenants out there. I have buildings everywhere. I have tracts of land that are available to build, 21-acre site, a 10-acre site, an 8-acre site. I mean, I have more, but those are pad-ready sites ready to go. One's certified through the state of Tennessee, which is called the Site Selection Program. You get certified, and that means your parcel of land moves a little bit to the top of the list because it's site selected, and that means it's turnkey. That pad is ready to go. It has all the infrastructure there. So we have those. So if anyone's looking to come to us and we fit their needs, we have sites that are ready to be built on.
We've mentioned the highways. We've mentioned the river, which is a means, of course. Railroad.
Smith County has more opportunity with railroad right now, and actually been speaking to legislators about railroad and can we add new destinations on the railroad. So not only the railroad, but we are less than 40 miles, more or less, with my rural counties from a major international airport. We are 45 miles from a major city. So our proximity to resources, we have 2 municipal airports, a strong one in Lebanon. We have another one in Macon County. So we have a lot of opportunity. It's incredible the amount of opportunity when we stop and look at it, where we are today versus where we were in the year 2000. How far these communities have come while preserving the rural lifestyle and understanding how to integrate industry so we can have more jobs with a higher rate of pay.
All right, let me throw one other thing out here. We know the population has grown exponentially in Wilson County, and I haven't looked at Sumner, but I'm sure it has almost as much. But I don't think we've had anywhere near as much
we have not.
Growth in those other 3. What does the future? Are we going to see a further expansion north and east?
We are starting to see it. To say trickle out, anyone in the counties would say it's not a trickle, it's an open hose, it's an open faucet. But compared to the rate of growth that we saw in Wilson, and are still seeing in Wilson and Sumner, it is still a slower amount of growth in the 3 rural counties, but it's definitely happening. We're seeing more residential units pop up. We're seeing more things coming through Planning Commission and having to go through the County Commission. There's subdivision of land versus subdivisions. So we're seeing more subdividing of land than we are of subdivisions, but subdivisions are happening in the 3 communities, the 3 counties, but what I'm seeing more of is the subdividing of land, meaning they're taking a 100-acre farm and putting it in 10-acre tracts rather than taking that and putting 1,000 homes, which is a subdivision. They're subdividing. We're seeing more subdividing of lands. And what we have collectively in Middle Tennessee, we have infrastructure issues, meaning so many of our communities need to upgrade their water sewer treatment plants or completely build additions to them because they're close to capacity. They're at 70 or 80%. Or other communities have closed down their water sewer treatment plants and are coming in, so now they have to increase their capacity. That's across the board. We're seeing that. And because the communities are rural, there's not water to every home. We see that in Wilson and Wilson and Sumner, but we're seeing it a little bit more prevalent in the 3 rural counties. So working with those opportunities. As I always say, where you put water, you're going to see the growth. Yeah. Where so the water lines go, so the growth goes.
Is it water and sewer, or mostly at this time just water?
It's both. Now, the sewers in the incorporated areas versus the county areas is basically septic systems.
Yeah.
So you have your sewer in your incorporated cities.
Look at the clock. We're out of time.
Oh my gosh, Colwman.
We just got started good, didn't we?
Well, that just means I get to come back.
Okay, we'll have you back for long. Thank you so much and I think you're doing what you like. Congratulations on the position here, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
All right, Helene Singer-Cash, my guest, and that's it for Wednesday. Please join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.